And we've made it into the top five, number 5, number 4, to be exact, for the purposes of this video. Welcome in, Warchant TV. Like, subscribe, pass around, celebrate. Matt Lacerda, Tom Lang, I'm Jeff Cameron. James Williams, the Nebraska transfer, comes in at number 5 here. And, you know, I had a chance to talk to James Williams. Loved the confidence, loved the interview, loved the passion. I think, guys, we're banking on James to take a big leap forward here and become potentially the star of this defense. And the reason I say that is he was not even a full-time starter at Nebraska. He did play in 12 games for them. He was productive in the number of snaps that he played. He became sort of a pass rush specialist. He had 5 sacks, 31 quarterback pressures. The thing of it is, in that interview that I did with him is the area in which I think he wants to improve the most to become a complete player. He said, yeah, I can rush the passer, but I'm going to be able to stay on the field and stop the run too. I want to develop my game to that next level. Well, for him to justify a top 5 ranking, it would have to be a guy that's on the field all the time, one would think. And that means he can handle the run right at him and get after the passer and obvious passing downs. Tom, I'll start with you. James Williams at number 5 on our Warchant Top 40 list.
Yeah, I'm banking on it because he's got to be. He's got to be that important, especially with Jason Jenkins' availability in flux. He's got to be your anchor on the edge of that official defensive line. I know that they'll have linebackers moved around in all kinds of places. When he first committed and he was first being considered and visited campus, I thought he looked very wiry for his size. I didn't think he looked like he had the weight to handle downs 1 and 2 or short yardage situations. He's listed officially by Florida State right now at 262 pounds at 6'6". He carries the weight naturally because he's just got a giant frame. I think that's the NFL type frame. But it looks like he's gotten a little bit larger since he's been on campus here. It looks like he's gotten into that weight room to help himself be ready to go for downs 1 and 2. The one thing I'd say, Florida State's training staff, Jeff and Matt, Florida State's training staff has had like a mixed reputation with the fans, but there's no doubt that when you're talking about building a defensive lineman or an edge rusher into a 3-down player, Jared Verse is an excellent story because when he came here, he was kind of a specialist, but by the time he left, he was NFL ready as a body type. And hopefully that's the rubric or the plan that they're following for James Williams in this particular situation, the template. I think he can be that 3-down lineman. I think he has to be that 3-down lineman, and it doesn't hurt that he understands Tony White's system and he understands Terrence Knighton's coaching style because Terrence Knighton is like a father figure to him. So all good reasons for him to be a breakout player. Also, the IQ doesn't hurt. He's an extremely smart dude.
Yeah, Matt, as I come to you, I do want to point out when James did the interview, I asked him early in the interview, how much did he weigh? And I think he said between 265, 270, something like that. So he had obviously put on a lot of weight, and he was trying to put on a lot of weight. He was talking about that openly. Matt, you got him at 14. What do you think about James Williams and his impact on this defense and the role he'll play this year?
Yeah, first off, before I explain the 14, I just looked up his Nebraska roster and his FSU roster. And at Nebraska, he was listed at 235, and now at FSU, he's listed as 262. So he clearly has gained weight, and we're not seeing things. So yeah, he is definitely he's prepping more to be that all every down kind of guy. The reason why I have him at 14, and if you look at my list, it makes a little bit more sense, is I basically have him and McCray switched. I think McCray will be the top edge guy over James Williams. I still think they're both going to start and be on the edge. I'm very high on McCray. That's my one risk on this list is that I do think he'll be that top guy and he'll be the one to kind of be that anchor. I'm just really high on him coming out of Western Kentucky. But coming into James, I mean, James is just awesome. Great kid, as you guys said, high IQ. He's fun to be around. He's clearly a guy who could step up and be a leader on the defense. And just because he's been in this system already, he knows it and makes it that much easier for him to be a leader. He's telling guys how to work in and work out. So it helps him a lot. And I do think, the strength staff has done a lot here. As we just said, he's gained 30 pounds or around 30 pounds. So that's huge going into the year.
At number 4 is Luke Pettibon, and this is a kid that has played a lot of college football. He was all ACC, honorable mention at Wake Forest. Your center has to be smart. Your center has to be able to communicate. It's good to get a seasoned veteran center in here. I had him at number 4. Tom, you had him at number 6. Matt, I'll start with you. You had him in the top 10, but at number 8, talk about Luke Pettibon.
Yeah, we said it in a different video before. He's the guy who has been raved about all offseason when it comes to press conferences with coaches and stuff like that. He seems to be one that always comes up as being a leader. He was a captain at Wake Forest. Don't forget about that. So that means he already has that natural ability, and that's something that we talked a lot about last year as this team was missing. And look at all these guys we're talking about now. We're saying they're all showing those qualities of being able to lead and being able to help this team in the locker room. So it's a good opposite from last year to have, where you have too many guys that might want to be in that leadership spot. So we'll see. We don't know who the captains will be this year, but he's a guy with that experience, and just someone, as we said, has played a lot of football in the ACC. So he has experience throughout this conference and being able to perform at a high level, even though Wake Forest has been down since really Sam Hartman left, I guess is the truth to that. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy who FSU needs to step up. The whole offensive line needs to step up, especially if you're going to run it between the tackles a bunch. You need the center to do well. And in the last few years, when we've had problems at center with Maurice, this is one that you kind of feel can be more consistent.
I think it's interesting that he chose to come to Florida State with all of that experience and come to this system for Gus Malzahn. He understands the role that he'll be playing. I also like this quote. I don't think leadership can be faked. I think as a new guy, the first thing you have to do is build trust if you want to be a leader. That's the proper perspective. I do think he understands, though, the burden is on him to emerge and become a leader of this offensive line. Centers typically are. They have to be. Tom, you have Luke ranked highly. I think we all do. We're projecting him to be the starting center. Obviously, the role of center in this offense, as Matt just pointed out, they're going to be running a lot between the tackles. He better play well.
Yeah, and he's got good size too for center. A lot of times they might be just a little undersized, but you're okay with it because of the importance of the position. But 6'2", 302, I think that's legitimate in terms of the size. I don't think he's being helped by the training staff there. I think this is the guy that Florida State lucked into in the offseason. Dave Clawson leaving Wake Forest opened the door for Luke to look somewhere else. I don't think he was going anywhere, at least from the interviews. I didn't get the sense that he was fishing for something. He loved Coach Clawson. He kind of has an attitude like Dave Clawson, which is a little bit prickly, which is what you want from the anchor of your offensive line. As those centers, they need to be nasty, man, and they also need to be smart. I love the fact that he's getting trained up this offseason, looking at Tony White's defense every day. That makes you smarter at the exotic presentation that defenses can bring against you, play in, play out. I think this is the guy that Florida State lucked into this offseason. I think he's going to be absolutely the anchor of this O-line, and they could sorely use that after many years of watching 53, and he was a good player for some of them. I think we're all ready for a fresh start at center as well.
Only 3 remain. Those videos forthcoming as we are down and whittling it down to number 1 overall. I think you guys know who's going to be number 1. That's Matt Lasser and Tom Lang. I'm Jeff Cameron. Make sure you return to Warchant TV, warchant.com. Like, subscribe, all those things. The remaining 3, 2, 1 coming your way soon.